Okay. Ah, man. Middle of November. And it's hot. It's too damn hot. But I'm going to a country where it's even hotter. Hotter than hell. Literally. So we are making arrangements to vacate the Philippines. After 2 years, that's enough. I lived in other Southeast Asia countries for 10 years at a time straight before the burnout hit. The burnout started to hit me in the Philippines after about 4, 5, 6 months. And I've just been hoping against hope that I could find a way to mitigate it, to deal with it, to overcome it, to ignore it. And it ain't gonna happen. Philippines is just too stupid. It's too backwards. It's poor, not due to a lack of resources or anything else. It's poor due to a lack of brain cells. And I do believe it's genetic. I don't believe it can be educated out of them. They're born that way. That's all there is to it. No, I take that back. My extended family in America consists of 320 to 350 Filipinos. They are Americanized. And they are many grades above Filipinos in the Philippines. They're far smarter. So my statement was in error. It's not, it may be partly genetic, but it's also in large part cultural. I needed to go over to Vietnam for a week or two to deal with a boat that my family bought into over there, or bought. And it needed a lot of repairs. And then has to be piloted over to Philippines. I was a captain of a rescue tugboat for many, many years. 321 rescues in the Pacific. And I'm the only one qualified to bring it over, so I have to go. Now, in the Philippines, which is pretty damn close to a flat-out communist country, you can't just go hop on a plane like you can in almost any other country on the face of the earth. You have a whole series of rigmarole bullshit you have to go through to leave the Philippines. Now, it's pretty bad for expats to get out of the Philippines. You got to get permission. Formal permission. It's quite lengthy. If you are unfortunate enough to be a Filipina, which means a Filipino lady, God help you. The chances are very high, you ain't leaving the Philippines. Maybe not even if you're married. The Philippines has a thing called, what is it called? I knew it just a second before I was going to say it. They go to the airport, they have a job waiting in such and such a place, whatever. They have family waiting in such and such a place. Jesus Christ, these people. I really hate Philippines. This way. God, this has been blocked off for weeks. Okay, so They have all the arrangements made. They've got the money, they've got the ticket, they've got the money in the bank. And they go to the airport all happy, get on their flight. Well, they can't. If they're a Filipino lady. God damn it. They have to go in a special line, a special queue at the airport, where a bunch of angry, jealous Filipino ladies in uniform will decide, pretty much arbitrarily, whether or not those ladies can leave the Philippines. It's called, what do they call it? Offboarding, I think. Offboarding, something like that. You can Google it, research it. The ladies can produce all the documents they want, all the proof they want, and over 50 times a day, just in the Manila airport, these sanctimonious Philippine ladies, few guys in uniform at the airport, will say, nah, we don't want you to go. So you're not going to go. So you are physically prevented from getting on your flight. You're going to lose the money for the flight. If you paid for a hotel reservation, you're going to lose that. And a high percentage of ladies will just break down and start crying because their life has been totally effed. And I'm trying to think of a name for these ladies who do this at the airport. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. I think they laugh. Because they don't have the money to go out of the country. So they're going to make damn sure no other Filipino lady has the opportunity to go out of the country. Now, the supposed basis for this is that the Philippine government says it is protecting ladies from sex trafficking. They seem to think that every single one of these ladies has been tricked into going someplace where they're going to be kidnapped and held in handcuffs and made to work as prostitutes, sex slaves, for the rest of their lives until they die. That's what the Philippines government tells you is their excuse for doing this bullshit. Now, it could be that occasionally this was going to be the case. How often? Well, if the lady is 37 and she's fat and she's ugly and she's a Philippines attorney and she has a legal conference to attend in Hong Kong, chances are, fairly low that she's going to be accidentally sold into the sex trade in Hong Kong. But there are numerous cases of people just like that, ladies, being prevented from leaving the Philippines to attend these things. So they're off-boarded at the airport and they miss the meeting and their life turns into a hell trying to straighten out all the business ramifications of this bullshit. Okay. Philippines has been doing this for decades. Oh God. I came here to fly the drone and it's so freaking hot. The sun is just the moment that I walk up here, the sun comes out. So I'm gonna have to wait and see if it goes behind the clouds again because this is tolerable. Is there shade over there? No, not really. Shade over there? Not really. Jesus. God bless it. You can't just sit there and bake in the sun with no wind. Holy crap. Right when I got here. Okay. So anyway, there's a long whole story to this offboarding thing. 50 a day just in the Manila airport. Over 50 a day. Lives ruined. What do you think this does for that lady's love of her country? Pretty much destroys it. So at the rate of 50 a day, just in one airport, the Philippines government is creating hatred among its own people. Hatred for no reason. Hatred. Hatred. It's the only word. Okay, we'll wait out the sun if we can. I hope it doesn't burn off completely, because then we're screwed. All right, so offboarding. Yeah, just Google it. Okay, so expats, foreigners, whatever, who have been here over 59 days run into a similar problem. The Philippines government thinks it has the right to prevent them from leaving. Well, they've tried in the past, decades ago, and it has been beaten down in the courts, in international courts, and the people were allowed to leave. So the Philippines cannot positively prevent you from leaving if you choose to leave the Philippines, but they can make it damn miserable for you. And so the path of least resistance is to jump through their hoops, get all their forms, go through all their bullshit, and then you are allowed to leave because they have to allow you to leave anyway. But it's easier to do it their way than to go to your embassy and start a whole legal procedure, which might take a year or two to clear. So that's what we do. If we're over 59 days here, the way I understand it, if you're here over 59 days, you can leave with no problem. I mean, under 59 days, you can leave with no problem. If you're here over 59 days, up to 6 months, you can leave, but you still have to get a thing called an ECC. It's an exit clearance certificate. I believe that's what it stands for. It's an exit clearance. And what they do is they may or may not run you through some computer to see if you're wanted for any crime. And if you're not, then they stamp your thing. You got to pay money for it, and then you're allowed to go board your plane. Supposedly you can do this at the airport, and that's what I had done in years past. You just go to the airport, they stamp your form, you pay some money for that, you pay some money for an airport fee. As I recall, there's some other fees you had to pay, which are just made up bullshit. And then you're allowed to go get on your airplane. Okay, so you got to go, 3-4 hours early to take care of all this. And of course, it's bullshit. It's just unmitigated bullshit. Now, what I didn't know about was that if you stay over 6 months, it's a whole new procedure. I think it's always been in place, but when I lived here before, I was in and out of the Philippines all the time. Like, God, I don't know, every few weeks. I don't think I ever stayed a month straight without going to visit this country or that country or whatever. And my home was here, so I was just in and out, in and out, in and out. And the only thing I ran into was that easy exit certificate that you had to go get at the airport. Easy. Relatively, it's stupid and it's annoying, but it was fairly easy. You can do it at the airport. Now, a lot of guys have had trouble. They go to do this at the airport on the day of their flight, and with the internet being so bad in the Philippines is rated, last time I looked, it was 152nd out of 177 internet capable countries. So almost the worst country in the world for internet. I know quite a few guys who have internet from 3 different providers at the same time, and they're often without internet. I'm without internet today. I don't have anything. I haven't had it since last night. And I'm with Globe Telecom, which is probably the worst in Philippines, and they won't reply, and you know, it's just, it's stupid beyond comprehension. Go Google Globe Telecom at Trustpilot. Trustpilot is the biggest review site, I think, in the country. So go look at the reviews on Globe Telecom at Trustpilot. I think they have 1-star straight across the board with thousands and thousands of reviews. So anyway, these guys go to the airport thinking they're going to get on their flight, and the internet at the airport is down. Oh, what a surprise. And so they're prevented from getting on their flight because the airport won't give them their exit certificate. So if they didn't have insurance on the flight, then they lose the flight. Maybe it was a flight to the UK. Maybe it was a $1,500 flight, and they can't get on it, and they lose it, and they got to come back another day and try again. Okay, that's the Philippines. Okay, now I have been here this time for 2 years straight, so I was way over the 6-month thing, and I went into the big immigration office here in BGC a week or two ago to go ahead and get my exit certificate because I had to go to Vietnam and do this chore with this boat. And I was there to renew my visa anyway, and I thought, well, as long as I'm there, I'll go ahead and get this exit certificate, the ECC. Supposedly the price was 1,000 peso, 20 bucks, you know. I'll just step over to the window for that, and I'll give them my passport and my documents, and I'll get my thing, and it's good for 30 days. And you do not have to know your flight number, so you know, you get the ECC, and then you can go look for a flight. I thought, okay, you know, whatever, you can't do that one at the airport. I knew that, so I thought, okay, it's an annoyance, and it's a pain in the ass, and it's another reason to leave the Philippines and never come back, because I don't like communist countries. But anyway, so I stepped up to the window and gave him all the documents I had, and the guy was quite rude. This was in the SM Ora BI Immigration Center here in BGC. Now, I've had really good luck in there with those people doing, well, all I've ever done is visa extensions, and they've always been good. They're polite, they're knowledgeable, they're fast, great English. It's been a perfectly pleasant interaction each and every time for the last 2 years. So I was quite shocked to get this guy behind this ECC window who was borderline flaming asshole. He wasn't an out-and-out asshole because he probably didn't want somebody lodging a complaint against him, but it was pretty clear his tendency, his desire, was to be a flaming asshole because I did not know the procedure. Okay. I asked him, what is the procedure? See, I'm still angry. I'm trying to stay very calm. I tried to ask him, what is the procedure? His English was bad. His thinking was muddled. He could not articulate to me what the procedure was to get the document that he was requiring, to get all the documents to give to him in order to get back the ECC document that he required. Okay. So I muddled around with him for 4 or 5 minutes trying to figure it out. And finally they had a little plastic plexiglass stand with some instructions on it. And I gave up talking to this guy. I just took a picture of that. I figured, okay, I'll go home, I'll research it, I'll figure it out, and I'll amass all these documents. And it turned out there was quite a few documents that you had to scarf up. And so after a week or 10 days, I had all this stuff. I checked them all off on the list, and I went back and showed them all my documents and showed them the list that they had provided to me that I took a picture of, and I checked off every document on that list. And they said, no, you don't have blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, wait a minute, what is that? And the guy, once again, was borderline asshole. He wanted to be an asshole very badly, but perhaps he had had complaints filed against him in the past, and he was trying to keep it just under the threshold of being an out-and-out blatant asshole, so that I would not really have any specific thing I could complain about. But his attitude was shit. And so I didn't argue with him. I just took my papers and went home again. So that's visit number 2. But this time at home, I really researched it. And not only did I put together every document that wasn't even on the list that they might possibly want, I made a copy of every single document I had. Every single document that I had ever been given in the Philippines, I gave them I made a copy of that. And I did that all on my own little travel printer. I used an entire set of ink cartridges. In the end, I had 26 or 27 pages. I've got a video of them all laid out on the floor. And I waited another week or so, 10 days, and I went back. This time it was a different guy. And he was an out-and-out flaming asshole. He didn't seem to give a shit. He was rude. He said, no, you must have this and this and this and this. And I said, okay, you show me where that is on the list. And I gave him my list. And he said, I don't want this list, I want the document. And I said, oh, okay, I don't understand what document you're talking about because your accent is very strong and your English is very poor. I want you to show me on this list that you provide right here. This is your list in the plexiglass case. This is your list. You made this list. And here's my copy of this list. And every document that you ask for on that list is checked off, and it's right there in that pile in front of you. You tell me which document I do not have. And he said, well, you don't have this and this and this. And I said, okay, that's not on your list. I was told last time I was here that since I had these other documents, I didn't need these documents. But in any case, it doesn't matter, because here's a photocopy of every single document I own. So if it isn't in there, then I guess I go to jail. I guess we're just screwed. I guess I just live in the jail in Philippines forever, okay? That's where I'm at. That's the point I'm at. And he blah-blahed around. I couldn't understand anything he said again. I said, that's it, I'm done. I'm done. I cannot do business with you guys. And he kept saying, just follow us. Just do what we want. And I would say, I am eager to do what you want. I am thrilled to do what you want. I will walk 10 miles out of my way to do what you want. I want to do what you want. I am here to do what you want. But you won't tell me what you want. Well, just do what we want. And that's how it went. So that was 12, maybe 14 minutes. It got quite heated. I didn't swear. God, I wanted to. And I just said, fine, I'll have an attorney handle it. I'll get the ECC, and then me and my company and my business and the gobs of money we bring in to the Philippines for you and your children is gone. He said, fine, go then. So I did. I walked a couple of blocks, got an immigration attorney. And they went through the documents that I had, and they said, well, as near as we can tell, you're missing one document. and they made that document up there on the spot, and they took it all back to immigration themselves. I said, I'm not going back there. I'm paying you. I paid him a lot of money. I said, I'm not going back there. I'm paying you a lot of money. You go back there. You deal with them, because I've had it. I've just had it with these people. So they took the documents back there, came back to me and said, no, they don't like the document that we made for you. You have to go back there again and make yet another new document. And I said, I don't want to go back there. I have paid you to go back there on my behalf. You have told me several times in our meeting that I would not have to go back there. And they said, well, no, sorry, you got to go back there. So I said, okay, you send somebody with me, and you have that person talk to them, because I won't. I refuse to talk to them. I won't talk to them. I won't interact with them in any way, because I don't want this to get any uglier than it already has. They said, okay, fine. So they scheduled an appointment. I went back there with their person, and to submit to them this one missing document took 43 minutes. They made this guy run from window to window to window to window for 43 minutes. This law office, I suppose he was a clerk. 43 minutes, I timed it. I just sat and waited. He ran back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and stood in this queue and that queue and that queue and another queue just to submit one document. Now, after he submitted that document, they gave him some documents. On one of the documents, there was a big black stamp, rubber stamp on the top document. It said, to the effect that this person has no holds or warrants and no derogatory remarks in his record. Okay, that means essentially I'm free to leave the country. But they wouldn't give me the ECC on the spot. They said, no, you got to come back in a week, pick it up. So even though it's been determined that I have no wants or warrants or derogatory comments on my record, they're still going to play games with that thing for a week, another week. So my law office is going back there in a week on my behalf to pick up the ECC. In theory, they will give it to me without any problems. Give it to them, I should say. And I am the F out of here. This is certainly not the only reason. This is just one of the last reasons. I am out. Now I probably have to go to Vietnam, get that damn boat. I believe it has to come back to the Philippines to get worked on for a while, and then we take it to Australia. So I've got to come back to the Philippines one last time to just deliver that boat, and then I have to clean out my apartment and get all of my stuff shipped off. I don't know where I'll ship it off to. I might move to Cambodia. I might go back to the USA for a while. In any case, we then, after a month or so of work on the boat has to go to Australia for more extensive work. It's a big boat. You know, all boats need a lot of work. So then we'll do 5 or 6 months in Australia, and then who knows? But I do love Southeast Asia. I've always loved it for decades. I prefer to live in Southeast Asia. It used to be that Vietnam was my most hated country in Southeast Asia. Now the Philippines is. It's an insane asylum. It's insane. I'm telling you flat out, the people here are about this particular problem and all of the things that have driven me out of here. It won't be one video, it's going to be a series, probably 5 videos. And all of the terrible, horrible things that have happened to most of the expats and foreigners that I know who have come here to retire peacefully quietly. We're going to include a bunch of those. And at the end, we're going to say, look, if you're dumb enough to come to the Philippines, then go for it. All we ask is that you keep in touch and you tell us the horrific shit that happens to you, because it's going to. Now, why would the Philippines be worse than any other Southeast Asian country? I believe, I've lived in almost all of them. I believe the Philippines is the worst one because it is an island nation. And they do not get a lot of exchange of other people coming through. All the other countries have land borders, and it's a continuous flow of other people coming in, going out, coming in, going out. And it's a continuous exchange of ideas and customs. And so those countries, their insanity gets mitigated to a very large degree by all these other cultures coming in and showing them what's bullshit and what's not going to fly, and why this is stupid and why this is counterproductive. In the Philippines, they don't get that. You can only get here by air, and lots and lots of people can't afford to come here, so they don't. So the Philippines gets a very small fraction of the cultural exchange that all the other countries get, and they live in a bubble, and they don't understand anything about how the world outside works, and they don't want to understand. They live in a bubble of supreme arrogance and hubris, and they think they are God's gift to the world. Well, every Southeast Asian country has a little bit of that. The Philippines has it in steroids. They think they are it. Their country operates like a train with no wheels and no tracks, but they still think they are God's gift to the world. And so because of that, even a little bit of cultural exchange that comes in, they won't follow it, they won't heed it. They don't understand it, they don't want it. They want to continue running like a train with no wheels and no tracks. They like it. So people leave. The last stat that I saw was that 60.2% of the expats who come here to retire leave. 60.2%. And now I'm one of those. My extended Filipino family in America, the 320 or 350 of them, depending on who's counting on what day, all of them told me, don't go to the Philippines, you will hate it, it's a crazy place. It is an insane asylum, because they are Americanized now, and they see how things can run far more smoothly just with that teensy bit of intelligence. They see that, and they're like, oh my God, we never had any idea things could run this smoothly. And then they remember the Philippines, and they see people like me going back to the Philippines, and they say, no, 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 for God's sake, don't step off that cliff. You don't understand what's down there at the bottom. When you hit the bottom, you don't understand what it's going to be like. Okay, I didn't understand it completely, but here I am, begging to get out, begging to get out. So there's going to be quite a number of more videos on this theme. I'm not going to tell you not to come here. You know, maybe this is an education that you need in your life, and if that's the case, then more power to you. You know, you got to come here, you got to learn, you got to be schooled in the ways of insanity so that you can go to a sane country and appreciate it more, even though it might have little problems. So there you go. Now the sun went behind the clouds again, so I can go fly the drone, and hopefully no stray rabbit dogs will come and bite me while I'm sitting out there in that field. And so there you go. There you go, people. This is my introductory offering on why I'm leaving the Philippines. And by God, no, I was going to say I hope you heed it. No, I don't hope you heed it. I just hope you remember it when you come here and you start going through the same horse shit. You know, if you need to come here and learn this stuff, by all means come here and learn this stuff. Some people do. Some people, very few people come here and they never learn this. they're drunk all the time, or the only place they go is, you know, from their little shitty condo to the girly bar or whatever. But stay here long enough, you'll learn it. Alrighty, thank you very much. My old podcast series, I used to say good evening and good night, so it's just an automatic thing. I can't help but say it. Good evening and good night, and good luck and God help you.